is your boy Joe Cliff, and what I'm gonna need for y'all to do is to hit that like button, hit that share button, comment a little something, make sure you subscribe, and get these videos running. We gotta get these analytics up, we gotta get it running through the algorithms, and we gotta get it going. Make sure you tap in. Joe Cliff, outside looking in, all that good stuff. You already know the Joe Show. We rocking. Thank y'all. We up. What's good, y'all? You know we are back. Another Sunday. The Joe Show. Outside looking in. Joe Cliff Vision. Thank you for tuning in. Hope everybody's had a great week. This is the beginning to a new week, so make sure you're healthy, happy, prosperous, and blessed, doing what you have to do to better yourself and those around you. You already know how we rock it. We're here. There's been a lot of things going on. You know, I ain't gonna delve into the Kanye stuff, nothing like that, because we already see how that's transpiring. We see Rory's having a emotional breakdown on Twitter because of the backlash that he's facing and just critics and, you know, the people that has something to say about the situation, you know, all that type of stuff. We have some podcast beef, podcast wars, of course. You know how things go. But first and foremost, take this Sunday, be with your family, be healthy, happy, prosperous, and blessed, and do something. You know what I'm saying? I've been I've been alone lately. I've been just trying to figure things out, and it's been, I don't know. For the most part, you really do need people around to keep you sane, because you get lost in your own thoughts, and I find myself getting lost in my own thoughts, lost in, you know what I'm saying, just certain things. So I think I might get dressed, get up, get out, go do something today. You know what I'm saying? I just been working and being home, being a single father, taking care of my kid. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about it. Podcast wars, podcast beef. We already know Rory and MEO. They always have this ongoing situation, this ongoing thing with Joe, where they're saying Joe is stealing, things like that. So if you have the Patreon, if you have Patreon, the Joe Budden, if you subscribe to the Joe Budden podcast on Patreon, they released the episode this week called Pox Knows, where they dived deep into the situation and, you know what I'm saying, and just all aspects and different sides of what could have possibly made this whole situation happen, and what could have made it blow up to what it is now. And it was pretty interesting, honestly, hearing Joe talk about it, hearing his side and his perspective. And it all goes to show, it goes to the whole owner versus worker, you know, conversation that a lot of people be having, a lot of Black Twitter be having, and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It goes to actually knowing your business, knowing what you have going on, having the right representation, trusting your representation, trusting in the brand, trusting in your boss if you have a boss, and things of that nature. It was very, very messy. Not the episode or whatever, I'm just talking about the situation at hand, because the episode was actually I love that episode. That episode was very, I would say, transparent. I would say the guys was open with the dialogue, the conversation. Even Parks talked on some of the situations. He wasn't like shying away. He said he doesn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Joe talked about the situation, and it all comes down to Joe signed them into a 360 deal, and they didn't. Joe did to them what Def Jam did to him after Pump It Up. It's crazy. Nah, let me stop. Nah, but they signed a contract, and it's just miscommunication, honestly. Joe himself, Joe the brand, Joe the entity, was signed to Spotify himself with a Spotify deal for his podcast. They were signed to the Joe Budden network, or whatever the situation may be. They were signed to Joe. So when the Spotify deal ended, I guess they thought that they was also signed to Spotify. And you know how things go, you know, they wanted to audit, they wanted to check all the numbers. I guess it was like there was percentage shareholders or something like that. So I guess it was a 15-15-70 split. So Rory and MEO had 15-15. They busted down to 30, and Joe had the 70. And based upon, especially when you go independent. So the thing is, when you're signed to like, let's say a platform. If you're signed to a platform, there's a steady, there's a salary that, say, your boss gets if your boss is signed to that platform. This is just podcast talk. So that person will get the money. They will have to break down, you know what I'm saying, revenue as far as just expenses. So like your staff, you know, place where you're recording, you got to pay the engineer, you got to pay the people that help produce the show, just things like that, you know what I'm saying? And then you pay the talent and all that type of stuff. So when the Spotify deal ended, I guess the money started to kind of change. Well, it didn't even change necessarily, and that's where they were saying things went wrong, because when the Spotify deal ended, they were still getting the same pay that Joe was giving them during the Spotify deal. And it raised a couple questions like, oh, if you ain't getting this money from over here, then how are you still able to pay us? Where's this money coming from? Where's that money coming from? And things like that. You know how it goes. A lot of pocket watching and stuff like that. And now we see it again. We see it again. The hip-hop worlds, like all the worlds of hip-hop always intersect. And now you see how like a lot of things are happening in the battle rap world, because battle rap is becoming so commercial, and it's in this place where they're able to make a certain amount of money. It's becoming more of a production. Like there was a Twitter space the other day where I guess Miss Hustle, D.I. the Henny Man, Holmesy the God, a couple other people were talking about how people are actually rehearsing their battles together to just make for a better quality battle performances and stuff like that. Like it's getting crazy. It's more of a production. It's more Hollywood. You're able to get more money from this, so you want to make it the best quality you can, but it actually, in reality, it dilutes the product. So you're seeing a lot of like crazy things going on in the hip hop and the battle rap world, and it's colliding. And now we have Hoffa here. Math, he was battle rap's villain for so long. Math was battle rap's villain for so long, known for punching people out. Math was actually fired too. That's the crazy thing. I guess a lot of the antics and the bully persona overshadowed what he was actually speaking on, because Math is fire, and then the Diz situation and all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That happens. But you know what I'm saying? Math revamped, he reemerged, he changed himself, you know, rebranded, all that good stuff. And he came with the My Expert Opinion podcast. One of the hottest podcasts out right now, one of the hottest hip hop podcasts out right now, My Expert Opinion. But there's some turmoil going on. And like a lot of people haven't really been paying attention anyway. Like you could have seen what was going to happen. I don't know. This is all hearsay. This is not factual statements, but it has been said that Math signed a deal with, I guess, Revolt or another platform for 2.3 or 2.7 million, something like that. And the guys that was on the podcast with him, they tried to expose the situation because they're not working with Math no more. And it's starting to get a little messy. You seen Math sit down with Joe. He tried to break down the whole Rory and MEO situation, and it got like, so now it's just crazy how the the tables always turn. But people don't realize neither. This is that's the second group of co-hosts that Math had on that podcast. Because if you really want to be technical, the My Expert Opinion podcast started with Misfit and Knowledge from Hip Hop Is Real. And then them other guys came in, and like, I don't know, it's been a lot of transitioning and trying to get things right and stuff like that. But Math is it's kind of like the same situation with the Joe Budden podcast, where you have the person who is the talent, the face, who runs what's going on, who owns this is the owner of the podcast, and he is offered a certain amount of undisclosed money or whatever it is. He's offered a deal, and now these other people who, you know what I'm saying, they was there, but they didn't probably contribute, and they didn't contribute, or they don't even have the ownership to say that, you know what I'm saying, they should be paid these certain things and things like that. So it gets a little tricky. Math's pretty much going through the same thing that Joe was going through with Rory and MEO. These guys believe that Math was given a big sum of money, and now he's not trying to break bread or anything like that. So hopefully these guys work it out, because that podcast is fire. They were sitting on a Kanye interview that they didn't want to release. So Math is at the top of the top in the podcast world right now, but it's just like, bro, when these things happen, you got to just transition and figure it out. So prayers to all parties involved. Shouts out to the Joe Budden podcast. Shouts out to Math, Hoffa, my expert opinion, and everybody involved. Podcasting is kind of crazy, man. Podcasting really could ruin a lot of relationships, because the thing with podcasting is you're literally giving your opinion. You're sitting there with somebody and you're getting to really, like, say you're friends with somebody, but you guys don't hang out on a daily basis. So now you're sitting with this person probably 2-3 times a week. That's probably 90 times more than you would on a regular basis. And you're really starting to talk to this person. You're getting to know this person. And sometimes the stuff that you get to know, the stuff that you feel, it's not settling. It's stuff that you don't live by. It's stuff that you don't appreciate, or stuff that you don't even like. And, you know, it kinds of starts to break relationships down. Or you're sitting with these people, someone starts to feel like, oh, I'm bigger than what we have going on right here. I'm the star of this, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know their roles. So podcasting, especially as a group with your friends, it could be tricky, it could be difficult, especially if you don't have the business in order up front, as far as, yo, this is how things are gonna go, this is what's going on, and this is what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It gets kind of crazy, it gets tricky, it gets difficult. So big shouts out to all parties involved. We've seen this time and time again with podcasts. They transition, they split, they make $1 million worth of game. They had Homeboy in the beginning, they had Don't Call Me White Girl, now it's just Gilly and Wallow, you know what I'm saying? Like, we seen this time and time again. Don't Call Me Daddy Girls, or whatever that podcast was named, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully Math breaks some bread with them. Hopefully Matt figures it out, and, you know, he gets things right, and the situation is just able to be fixed, and they're able to come back together as a podcast, because the three of them had total different opinions and viewpoints based on, like, just who they was. So that's what made it an interesting podcast. Each of them brought something to the table, especially when you have somebody sitting there and you have questions for somebody. So big shouts out to Math, and, you know what I'm saying, everybody involved. Hopefully they get it right, and we keep on going, man. We keep on going. You know, that's just how things go sometimes. But we're here, and now, you know, we're going to talk about, it's the fourth quarter. It is the fourth quarter, and things are starting to heat up. Things are really starting to heat up as far as music and stuff like that, because if you know, you know, by December, around, like, probably the week before Christmas, the music industry, you know, takes a little break. They shut down, reset, you know, try to figure out what's going to happen. They look at all the projections. They look at the quarters, you know, count all that good money they made. You know how it goes. And then they try to project the next year and see what they could do, how they could do, what artists that they're going to push and stuff like that. You know how the music industry and the record labels work. So the fourth quarter is pumping, it's alive, it's thumping. We're probably gonna get crazy releases throughout from now until probably mid-December. We're gonna get crazy releases. Like this Friday was star-studded and packed. Next Friday we probably got one of the biggest album releases that's gonna be of 2022, and that's gonna be Drake and 21 Savage, Her Loss. But this Friday was probably just as big. We have Rihanna, we got SZA, we got Kodak, we got Ice Spice, we got Westside Gun. The list goes on and on and on. Everybody has dropped something this Friday. First, we're gonna start with Rihanna. Rihanna, it's probably been about 5 years since the Anti album. Yeah, I think it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since Rihanna dropped. That's nuts. But she came with a movie cut, and it's for the new Black Panther movie. That movie, I don't know when Black Panther's coming out. I think next week. I think Black Panther comes out next week or the following week. But they did drop the Rihanna single. It is an outro song. You know what I'm saying? Very wholesome, very heartfelt. It's not a typical Rihanna single or anything like that, which probably has a lot of Rihanna fans nervous based on her Super Bowl appearance coming up. There hasn't been no music really. She's appeared on a couple songs here and there, but it hasn't been nothing where it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying, Rihanna's back. So people's trying to figure out what's the next step. They said it's 2 songs on the she has 2 outro songs on the Black Panther album, so we're gonna see what the other song sounds like. It probably sounds the same way. This was very slow, you know, very low, very slow tempo, stuff like that, you know. Very, I wouldn't say R&B. It was more like musical. It was like outro music. It was like it's a movie cut. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing that you could duck to or anything like that. You know, it's nothing like that. So, but big shouts out to Rihanna. Hoping to see what she does, especially with the Super Bowl coming up. She is the Super Bowl halftime performer this year. So hopefully she either drops a single or 2. Like, even with, like, I wouldn't be mad at a Rihanna 2-pack, you know, a 2-pack or a 3-pack of singles before the Super Bowl, where she's getting in her Rihanna bag, turns us up, and then we get an album after the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But enough is enough. She's been feeding these ladies with this Fenty stuff. Let us eat. Let us music fiends eat. I don't feel right with Rory right now in rotation, and I can only play Kiss It Better and them other joints so much before it's like, yo, I need something new. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see where Rihanna stands. This is overall a solid fire. You know, I ain't gonna say fire. It's a very good track. We'll see where it fits in the movie. Of course, it's probably gonna be sad. You know how the song does. If you heard the song, then you know how it's gonna go. So we'll see how it fits in the movie. But the queen is here too. You know, there's a couple queens. I'm a R&B head. I'm a Afrobeats head. I'm a reggae head. I love hip hop, of course. But if you hang with me on a daily basis, you know I really don't listen to hip hop like that. I listen to a lot of, you know, Burna Boy, Thames, Rihanna, SZA. A lot of, like, I got like a Sunday playlist, a lot of 90s and 80s, like old school R&B, stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Them are my vibes. And SZA dropped Shirt, bro. That's it's a leak. It was a leak from last year, I believe. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm waiting on the song at the end. If you watch the video, she dropped the, you know, how we used to do it back in the days where you preview your new song at the end of your new video. You know what I'm saying? Get the fans anticipating. So she did one of them moves. And I'm waiting on that song, bro. She was starting to talk. She was speaking. And a lot of ladies don't speak on the truth, but she was telling the truth. SZA said, fucking on my ex because he make me feel validated. When are you women gonna start talking like that? Men give y'all validation. It's a fact. But we already know SZA, she gets in her bag, so definitely waiting on that album. Honestly, I think that album might come by the end of this year, be top of next year, hopefully the end of this year. If the album don't drop at the end of this year, then I don't know. But SZA is back in rotation. She is back. She is here. Big shouts out to everybody at TDE. Big shouts out to that camp. Can't wait for that album. Can't wait to see what she does. Can't wait to see who's on that album, how it sounds sonically, because this Shirt song is fire. Sonically, it's fire. You already know SZA gets in her bag. She does what she does. But on to the next, we have Mr. Black himself. Kodak Black, man. Kodak be on some, yo. Kodak is one of the most talented, most crazy, bro, like, you just don't know what he's gonna say, what he's gonna do at any given time. Like, he was saying some wild shit on this album, bro. He was saying some wild shit on this album. Case in point, I'm gonna put a video right here so you can see what Kodak was saying.
In the studio 2 nights in off a gram of that meth while whipping in my.
Nope. No, sir. Like, why? Like, why? Why was he? Why? Why? Like, why? Bro, you be smoking meth? I don't know. But overall, Cutthroat Bill is out now. It's like more of a, I guess he said it's a little, I don't know if it's an album or mixtape, but it's fire nonetheless. It is fire. So big shouts out to Kodak. He said after his deal with Atlantic's done, he's signing to Motown. They're 38, 40 million, something like that. Something crazy. So big shouts out to Kodak. He continues to work, continues to elevate. Had one of the biggest songs this year. Got gypped from the BET out of a BET award and things like that. But it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop him. Big shouts out to Kodak. Make sure you go check out that album. Women. The ladies don't stop. The ladies don't stop with these anthems, bro. Ice Spice got another one. I don't care what none of y'all say. I don't care what none of y'all think. Ice Spice got another one. And she's here. She might be here for a little while. Seriously. Like, Ice Spice really might be here for a little while. Like, crazy. It's her vocal tone, it's her flow, she be sliding, it's her little catchy IG caption bars, the beats, like this Bikini Bottom beat. Ice Spice dropped the Bikini Bottom song. It got everybody in a frenzy. They're going up, they're running it up. She's 2 for 2, in my opinion. She's 2 for 2, because nonetheless, I don't care what you say, what you think. The song is fire. It's gonna take off. It's catchy. That beat is so catchy. Like, people keep saying it's a cartoon character, but it's fire. Like, it just catches you. Like, her lyrics are catchy. Like, she's here. She might be here for a minute. She knows what she's doing as far as putting together songs, I think. Like, seriously, she knows, like, certain things to say, how to make it viral. Like, she was even making fun of herself. She said she posted on Twitter, practicing my 3 emotes. You know what I'm saying? You know how people always say, all she does is bend over and shake her ass and things like that. But I don't know. I can't say nothing because I enjoy the song. I enjoy both songs. Take you wanna. Shouts out to Ice Spice. Bikini Bottom out now. She's here. She's gonna be here for a little while. Like, seriously, just think about that. This song might live on into the middle of next year if she does it right. You know what I'm saying? And she really did do it right, because she's been teasing this song for about a month now. So, you know, she built up the hype, the promo and stuff like that. It is the fall, so this song, if they do it right, this song could carry her until the spring, you know what I'm saying, top of the spring, and then spring it turns up a little bit more, and then that would be perfect for a third follow-up. And if she could produce a third follow-up followed by a fire album or even like a little mixtape EP next summer, it's solidified. Seriously, it's just all about the planning, all about how you execute and what you do to put that artist in position. Like, seriously, if I was in Ice Spice's camp with this one, I would try to, you know, play it out for the next couple months, at least to like March. Get that thing going and running, you know, spring, top of spring, and then we drop something on their heads again in April, May. And then July, we work on like a little 6-song EP or something like that. 2 singles on that thing, and she's out of here. She's here to stay, you know what I'm saying? Hire me. Somebody hire me. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. But nah, seriously, Ice Spice is fire. Shouts out to Ice Spice. Shouts out to the whole BX. New York, you know what I'm saying? New York is here. New York has like a little crazy run, underground run with the New York Bronx drill. You have people emerging, you know what I'm saying? You still got your spitters and stuff like that. Low key, Fab has been killing. Fab has been dropping singles and like videos and stuff like that, and people's just been overlooking that. But we're gonna do a whole vlog on that, on the stuff that Fab's been doing and dropping lately, because it's been getting overlooked. Shouts out to Fab, one of my favorites of all time, man. Soul Tape series, There's No Competition, all that stuff. Fab is really a god when it comes to rap. Like, seriously. I don't care what nobody says. But we're here. My favorite album. We're gonna talk now. Let's really talk about it. We're gonna talk about my favorite album. My favorite album now is released on Friday. And it's crazy. I seen on Twitter, somebody on Twitter was saying Westside Gunn is doing what DJ Khaled wants to do or should be doing. And I had to think about that very hard at first. Like, seriously, I was like, what you mean? What you mean by that? What you mean by that? Then it hit me. He literally, like, Westside Gunn's ear for talent, like the way he could executive, like he's a great executive producer, hands down. Every project that he's touched so far has been fire. The Griselda Camp fire, everybody out of there, like his ear for talent and stuff like that. But he really just flexed the muscle real quick. You know what I'm saying? He had like on this album on 10, he dropped the 10. He has the Hitler Wiz Hermes series. But due to the state that we're in as far as all the stuff, going on with Kanye and anti-Semitism and all that stuff, he dropped and he just calls it 10. So we have part 10 to the series, you know what I'm saying? And it is complete. I ain't gonna say it's a classic yet. It's been 2-3 days, but bro, it's probably one of the most complete albums this year. Besides the Freddie Gibbs album, the Kendrick album, things like that, this album is crazy. It's kind of like, I would say it's more or less a compilation than really, it's a Westside Gunn album. You could tell he picked every beat, you know what I'm saying? He always chooses who he wants. He brings these people together, and that's what people mean by he's doing what DJ Khaled should be doing or whatever, because you have these songs where you wouldn't expect these certain people to be together, and it's raw, and it's gritty, and it's grimy, and they just start going. He even jumped in a different bag on this album. He got a fire joint with Doughboy. Like, he got a fire joint with Doughboy on there. Like, it's crazy, man. He got that joint with Doughboy and DJ Drama. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So big shouts out to Westside Gunn, bro. One of the most inspirational, one of the most creative, one of the most artistic and far out thinking hip-hop stars we have right now. His connection as far as taking fashion, art, and just hip-hop and combining it into one and making these classic albums and these masterpieces and bringing us Conway, Benny, R.I.P. DJ Shay. DJ Shay helped them, get to the position they're in. You got Armani Caesar, like, come on, bro. Rome, like, yo. Shouts out to Griselda. They're cooking right now. Griselda is on fire right now. They're cooking. If you don't do anything, if you don't do not a thing, go check out that Westside Gunn 10 album. That Westside Gunn 10 album is worth your time and worth your ears. I'm telling you. Big shouts out to everybody. We're going to come back later. Actually, I think I'm about to go live on YouTube. I'm going to go live on YouTube today so we could talk about this Averb and Kid Chaos situation. Talk about Homecoming, Murder Mook versus Geechee Gotti. We're going to see how these things go. But this is your boy, Joe Cliff. Big shouts out. Thank you to everybody that's been tuning in, everybody that's locked into the channel, locked into what we got going on. We're here, we're working, and we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to flex. We're going to continue to step up. This is your boy, Joe Cliff. We're on the outside looking in. This is the Joe Show. Holla.